Hello, spooky ghouls. We're gonna do our Summerween TBR. Since Summerween is upon us, I'm wearing my Hollow Queen Sally shirt, which is very much necessary. We got our little ghost with us. We got everything. We are ready for Summerween. So let's get through our Summerween TBR. Obviously, these are books that I would like to read this month or would like to have the option to read this month. That does not mean in any way, shape, or form that I'm going to be reading all those books in the week that is Summerween, because Summerween is a week. So, yeah, that is way too many books for me personally to read in a week. I'm sure so many of you could do it. I cannot. Mentally, I can't, but we're gonna start. Okay, so we're starting off with a classic, and we have Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And it says, "The world was to me a secret which I desired to divine." I have been wanting to read Frankenstein. Everybody says it's such a good and iconic book. It's obviously about Frankenstein's monster, so it does fit into the spooky vibe of Summerween, and honestly, a haunted castle there too. Let's go, let's read it. I have read the graphic novel of Frankenstein and I enjoyed it, but I have yet to read the actual book, so I'm excited to get into it and actually read it. But that's the first book on the TBR, or on the list of books I would like to get to. Next we have The Night Watcher by Daphne Wollstonecraft. So this one, I have to see, because I bought two that were similar. So she's a host of a podcast, I think, a radio show called Night Watch, where people call in and say, I guess, scary stuff. But there's an intruder in her home. Someone calls in. She finds this person to be similar or familiar, and she thinks that the killer has resurfaced and is coming for her. And then you see the little hiding man there. I'm not 100% sure. I need to look at this again, because I was thinking of another thriller I bought the other day, which has to do with a podcast where she invites murderers and stuff, but it's not that one. But similar vibes. Then we have Pan's Labyrinth by Guillermo del Toro and Cornelia Funk. So I'm excited to read it. I have no idea what it's about. I just know that it's weird and creepy. It says this book is not for the faint of heart or weak in spirit. It's not for skeptics who don't believe in fairy tales or the powerful forces of good. It's only for brave and intrepid souls like you who will stare down evil in all its forms. So I'm excited. So the book was inspired by the movie. So let's see. I have not seen the movie, but I'm excited to see it. So I'm assuming it's how good defeats evil. That's what it sounds like. Then our next book is The Haunting of Payne's Hollow by Kelly Armstrong. So it looks like this. It's from Book of the Month. And honestly, I have no idea what it is about. I know I read the synopsis and I enjoyed it, but let's see. So it says when Samantha Payne's grandfather dies, she figures she won't even get a mention in the will. After all, she hasn't seen him in 14 years, not since her father took his own life after being accused of murdering a child at their lakefront cottage. Her grandfather always insisted her father was innocent despite Sam having caught him burying the child's body, his clothing streaked with blood. But when she attends the reading of the will at the behest of her aunt, she discovers that her grandfather left her the very valuable lakefront property where the family cottage sits. There's one catch. Sam needs to stay in the cottage for a month to finally face the fact that she was wrong and her father was innocent, according to her grandfather. After traveling to Payne's Hollow, Sam is faced with the realities of her childhood and the secrets kept hidden in the shadows of her memories. When her aunt goes missing a couple of days into their stay, Sam begins to question everything again. Plagued by nightmares and paranoia, she hears sounds in the forest and sees shapes crawling from the water at the rippling waves of the lake promise something unspeakably dark lurking just below the surface. I'm excited. Next we have Carmilla, which is, I think, if not the first, one of the first vampire stories. So it did come before Dracula, but I know there's a story called The Vampire that came before Dracula, so I don't know if the vampire came before Carmilla or if Carmilla came first. So it says, nothing is what it seems when a wealthy English widower and his daughter Laura unexpectedly welcome the young Carmilla into their isolated Styrian castle. Though Laura is quickly charmed by Carmilla's grace and beauty, she thereafter falls victim to a strange, unidentifiable illness that threatens to take her life. And when an old family friend reappears to shed light on Carmilla's mysterious past, Laura realizes her dear friend may prove deadly after all. So I'm excited. And it's also super short. Like, insanely short. 127 pages, so should be pretty simple. Then I had The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Stories. I know The Legend of Sleepy Hollows is probably like 20 pages. So I think I'm only going to read The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and probably gift this book to someone because I'm not interested in any of his other stories but that one. So we're reading that one and then we're donating the book. But I am excited. The Headless Horseman and everything. It's just so fun, and seeing the movie on Disney, and it's just so good. So we have the Headless Horseman and Ichabod Crane, or were those two different stories? No, Ichabod Crane is there. So the Legend of Sleepy Hollow tells the tale of superstitious schoolmaster Ichabod Crane, who seeks the hand of Katrina, but finds a rival for his affections in Brom Bones, Van Brunt. Spurned by Katrina, Ichabod rides through the autumn night where he encounters a headless horseman. What follows is a classic American ghost story that has thrilled readers for centuries. So I'm excited. Like I said, I'm going to read just Sleepy Hollow and then give this to somebody else. And the next books are all Stephen King. They're not all of the Stephen King books that I have to read, but they're 4 that I picked for this challenge. I want to read it, but I'm not going to read it in the same week as I read all of these books, because I know once I read it, I'm going to be defeated. So we have Misery by Stephen King. So I think he goes out, he gets into an accident with a fan. The fan takes care of him, but she becomes like obsessed and like weird things start happening. So I'm excited. It's also just like in a cabin in the woods, like, yeah. Then we have Salem's Lot, which I've heard is like a vampire book. done by him. I don't know much about it, but also like when it comes to horrors and thrillers, I don't like knowing too much. I know it's famous and I think it has a show. I'm not 100% sure what it is, if it's a show or a movie, but I do want to read it and then watch it, just like with Misery. I can't even speak. But these are all ones that I want to sit down, read, and then watch the respective movie. I have seen the movie of the next two books that I want to read, but I have not yet read the books. But I will be rewatching them after I read the books, if that makes sense. But I am excited for Salem's Lot. It says Ben Mears has returned to Jerusalem's Lot in hopes that exploring the history of the Marston House, an old mansion long the subject of rumor and speculation, will help him cast out his personal devils and provide inspiration for his new book. But when two young boys venture into the woods and only one returns alive, Mears begins to realize that something sinister is at work. In fact, his hometown is under siege from the forces of darkness, and only he, with a small group of allies, can hope to contain the evil that is growing within the borders of this small New England town. So let's see. Next, we have The Shining, which is about a haunted hotel in the mountains. I guess in like Colorado or something like that. That's what it feels like. Um, so he gets a new job. He overlooks the hotel. He moves in with his son and his wife, and weird things start happening. He starts like getting possessed by whatever entity is here or one of the entities, and the son sees the stuff, and it's just like a good movie. So I'm assuming the book is even better, and you can see the face of the guy screaming. And honestly, you have the iconic red room scene in the movie, and I want to know if that comes from the book or if that was just something that they added to the movie. And lastly, we have Pet Cemetery, also by Stephen King. It's a great book. I love, not the book, a great movie. I loved the movie. It was amazing. I did watch the newer one that came out a couple of years ago, not like the old one, but I do want to read it and watch the old one and the new one. So, Pet Cemetery is about this town that whatever animal dies, if they bury them in this specific cemetery, the animal comes back to life. But they come back to life in a different way. They're not the same as they used to be. Now they're acting weird, acting different, and not really acting like a pet anymore. So, like I said, I loved the movie when it came out. I felt like the new one was pretty scary. And people say that Pet Cemetery is one of his scarier books, like actually scary from the book. So I am really excited because I feel like it's very hard to make a scary book that actually creeps you out, because in movies it's so much easier because the suspense, the music, the sound effects, like the foreshadowing, that moved and it scared the bejesus out of me. I was like, oh no, I don't want it to happen in real life. I feel like it's just easier to build up to it and like jump scares and all this stuff that you do not have in a book. So it's a little bit harder to do that in a book, but I am so excited to read these books. Like I said, Summerween is 1 week, so there's no way in this world that I will finish 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 books this week, and 3 of them are classics, which granted I can read Sleepy Hollow and Carmilla like say the same day, but I also don't want to speed through the books and not really like get into them as much as I would, but I do want to read as many as I can. And I think this is the official week of Summerween. Let me check just to make sure that is the actual week of Summerween. Summerween 2026. So it starts today. So it's June 22nd. So yeah. It starts today and it goes for the rest of the week. So yeah. Even though I'm currently reading Beach Read by Emily Henry, I am going to try and pick up at least Sleepy Hollow today and finish Sleepy Hollow, because we need to do like some Summerween stuff. We need to have a Summerween moment, and that's okay. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have our Summerween day. Well, week. that's what we're gonna do. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'll keep you guys updated with my reads in the Summerween vlog, I guess we're gonna do now. And yeah, I'll see you guys then. Bye.